My name is Scott Blaze, and if you've ever found yourself staring at your bank account 3 days before payday, wondering how the money disappeared so fast, then this episode is for you. Because today, we're going to talk about a trap millions of people are caught in, the paycheck to paycheck cycle, and more importantly, how to escape it. This cycle isn't just a money problem, it's a life problem. It affects your sleep, your health, your decisions, your relationships, and your ability to dream bigger. I've seen people with six-figure incomes stuck in it, and I've seen people earning far less break free and build real wealth. So the amount you make? That's not the core issue. It's how you manage what you make, and how you think about money. I want to start by painting a picture. Imagine you're on a treadmill. You're running fast, you're sweating, you're exhausted, but the scenery never changes. That's the paycheck to paycheck cycle. You work, you earn, you spend, you stress, you repeat. There's no margin, no cushion, and no room for error. One unexpected bill and you're wiped out. One missed paycheck and everything unravels. I've lived it, and I've helped hundreds of people climb out of it. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. And today, I'm going to walk you through the real steps, the practical mindset shifts, habits, and strategies that move you from paycheck to paycheck living into freedom. Let's start with awareness, because most people who are trapped in the cycle have no idea where their money actually goes. They feel broke, but they can't point to why. That's where step 1 begins, tracking every dollar. I know, it sounds tedious. But this one habit will expose everything. For 30 days, write down every expense: rent, food, gas, coffee, snacks, subscriptions, Amazon splurges, all of it. You don't have to change your habits yet. Just track, because what gets tracked gets transformed. Awareness is the first crack in the wall. When I did this for the first time, I discovered I was spending $200 a month on takeout. I wasn't even enjoying it. I was just lazy and tired. That insight alone gave me the motivation to start meal prepping, and suddenly I had $150 back in my pocket every month. That's how change begins. Not with some magic app. With attention. Once you know where your money goes, the second step is to separate needs from wants. This part is uncomfortable, because it forces you to admit that some of your spending is emotional. That new gadget? That third streaming service? That daily coffee run? Those are comforts, not essentials. And when you're stuck in the paycheck cycle, comfort spending keeps you trapped. I'm not saying you can't enjoy life. I'm saying you have to prioritize escape first. Freedom first. Once you have margin, once you're out of the stress spiral, then you can enjoy those extras guilt-free. The third step is to create a buffer. I call it your freedom fund. Some people call it an emergency fund. I like calling it what it actually gives you, freedom. It's the space between survival and security. You don't need $10 to start. Aim for $500. Then $1. That small buffer absorbs life's surprises, a flat tire, a doctor visit, a missed shift, without sending you into chaos. Now here's the part no one tells you. The first $1 is the hardest. Not because it's mathematically difficult, but because it requires discipline, boundaries, and saying no to things that your past self always said yes to. That's where most people fall off. They save a few hundred, then life happens, and they start over again. So how do you make it stick? You automate it. Set up a savings account at a different bank, one that's hard to access. Then set up an automatic transfer the day after payday. Start small. Even $25 a week adds up. You'll be shocked at how quickly it grows once it's out of reach. Now let's talk income, because while cutting expenses helps, increasing income is what accelerates your exit from the paycheck cycle. This doesn't mean working 100 hours a week. It means leveraging what you already know. Can you freelance, tutor, deliver groceries a few hours a week? Sell something online? Teach a skill? Don't aim for perfect, just aim for progress. An extra $200 a month could be the margin that breaks the cycle. Now let's address debt, because nothing keeps you locked in the cycle like minimum payments, credit card interest, payday loans, personal loans. They drain your paycheck before you even get it. So how do you attack it? First, list every debt you have, smallest to largest. Don't worry about the interest rate yet, we're going for momentum. Pay the minimums on everything, but throw any extra cash at the smallest one first. This is called the debt snowball. Every time you eliminate a balance, you free up cash and build confidence. Then you attack the next one, and the next, until they're gone. One of my clients, Maria, had 5 credit cards and felt like she was drowning. But once she followed this process, she knocked out the first card in 2 months. That small win gave her the energy to keep going. 18 months later, she was debt-free and saving 20% of her income. She didn't win the lottery. She changed her system. Let's talk lifestyle inflation. This is the silent killer of progress. It's what happens when your income increases, and so do your expenses. You get a raise, and suddenly you're eating out more, upgrading your phone, buying nicer clothes. The extra money disappears. You're still paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher level. The way to break this is with a simple rule: lock in your lifestyle. When your income increases, keep your expenses the same for at least 6 months. Use the surplus to build your buffer. Pay off debt, or invest. That discipline creates momentum, and momentum is how you escape. Speaking of investing, let's clear something up. You don't need to be rich to invest. You need to be consistent. Once you've built your buffer and paid off consumer debt, start putting money into retirement. Even if it's $50 a month. Use a Roth IRA. Invest in index funds. Let time and compounding do the heavy lifting. And don't forget, you are your greatest investment. Learn skills. Take courses. Read books. Listen to podcasts. The more value you bring, the more income you can create. The better you manage that income, the faster you escape. Before we go any further, if this podcast is giving you clarity, encouragement, or tools you can actually use, take a moment right now to like, comment, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the show. It's a small gesture that makes a big difference and helps us keep creating content that empowers people to rise. Thank you for supporting this journey. Now back to the work. The paycheck cycle also thrives in isolation. When you feel alone in your struggle, you keep it hidden, you pretend, you perform, you suffer quietly. That's why one of the most powerful things you can do is talk about money with people you trust. Join a financial group, take a course with a friend, share your goals, celebrate your wins. Progress accelerates in community. I've watched people stay stuck for years, until they joined a group challenge or a savings club. Suddenly, they were excited, motivated, accountable, because seeing others take action reminds you that you're not broken. You're just beginning. And here's something critical: stop blaming yourself. The paycheck cycle isn't a personal failure. It's a system failure. You were never taught how to budget, how to save, how to delay gratification. Most schools don't teach it. Most parents never learned it either. But now you know better. So now you can do better. And that's the heart of this message. You are not stuck. You are starting. You are not behind. You are building. Let's walk through what the first 90 days of escaping the paycheck cycle could actually look like for you. Week 1 to 2. Track every expense. Don't change anything yet. Just record it all. Notice the patterns. Where are the leaks? What surprised you? What can be eliminated without pain? Week 3 to 4. Create a budget. Not a rigid prison, but a blueprint. Use categories like essentials, savings, debt, and lifestyle. Give every dollar a name. Make sure your spending reflects your values, not your impulses. Week 5 to 6. Start your freedom fund. Open a savings account. Set up a recurring transfer. Even if it's small, this money is your cushion, your confidence, your first taste of control. Week 7 to 8. Cut out one convenience. Maybe it's food delivery. Maybe it's impulse buys. Maybe it's unused subscriptions. Replace it with something low cost but rewarding. Like a homemade dinner, a walk, a library book. Week 9 to 10. Increase your income. Offer a service. Sell something you don't use. Ask for overtime. Apply for better jobs. Any action is better than waiting. Movement builds momentum. Week 11 to 12. Pay down your smallest debt. Feel the win. Then stack that energy toward the next one. You're building a snowball now. This isn't a quick fix. It's a new path. A path that leads away from survival and toward security. And when that first emergency hits, and you use savings instead of credit, everything shifts. You feel powerful, capable, in control. You start looking forward, not just surviving today. And that's the ultimate shift, from reaction to intention. But here's what I want to emphasize: this isn't about becoming a financial expert. It's about becoming a person who chooses wisely, who sees clearly, and who acts boldly. Escaping the paycheck cycle doesn't make you rich overnight. It makes you dangerous to the status quo. It makes you the kind of person who won't settle for barely getting by. The kind who builds options, builds margin, builds wealth. You start to realize that time is your greatest asset. That freedom is the goal, not stuff. That peace is better than possessions. I want you to picture something. 6 months from now, you have $1 saved. Your debt is shrinking. You're tracking your spending. You're building a second income stream. You're not afraid of payday anymore. You're in control. That life is possible. It's not a fantasy. It's a decision. 1,000 small ones stacked together. So what's your next one? Let's get even more practical now. Because knowledge is power, but only when applied. Start by reviewing your fixed expenses. Things like rent, utilities, phone bills. Ask yourself, can any of these be reduced or renegotiated? I've worked with people who called their internet provider and cut their bill by 30% in 5 minutes. Or switched to a cheaper phone plan. Or found a roommate to split costs. Every dollar saved is another step off the treadmill. Next, look at your variable expenses. Things like food, transportation, entertainment. These are flexible, but that means they need boundaries. Set a weekly cash limit. Use envelopes or a budgeting app. Decide in advance how much you'll spend, and stick to it. Decision ahead of time removes guilt and regret. Now let's talk side income with intention. Don't just hustle blindly. Start by asking, what problem can I solve? What skill do I have? What need exists in my community? When you shift from, how do I make extra money, to, how do I serve, opportunities appear. One of my favorite examples is a young woman named Jasmine. She worked retail full-time but loved organizing. She started helping friends declutter on weekends. Then she started charging. Then she launched a service. Within a year, her side income matched her main job, and she escaped the cycle completely. The goal isn't to work forever. The goal is to build leverage. Leverage means you eventually earn without trading every hour. That's why budgeting is the first step, but building is the finish line. So where does investing fit into all this? Once your emergency fund is stable, your debt is shrinking, and you have margin, start automating investments. Use index funds. Use retirement accounts. Don't try to beat the market. Just be in the market. Time is more important than timing. One of the biggest lies we're sold is that wealth is only for the lucky. But wealth is for the consistent, for the learners, for the ones who make smart decisions over and over again, even when no one is watching. And let's be honest, it's hard at first. Your friends might not understand. You might miss out on some outings. You might feel behind, but what you're really doing is getting ahead. You're building what others will wish they started when they had the chance. And trust me, when you finally break that cycle, when you look at your bank account and feel peace instead of panic, when you open a bill and don't flinch, you'll realize it was worth it. Let's talk about emotional spending. Because for many people, money isn't just math, it's therapy, it's relief, it's distraction. You've had a stressful week, so you buy something to feel better. You feel behind in life, so you treat yourself. You feel empty, so you fill the gap with a purchase. We've all been there, but here's what I've learned: every emotional purchase delays emotional growth. It postpones the work that actually brings peace. And it keeps you in the cycle, because you're soothing instead of solving. So what do you do instead? First, notice the triggers. Do you shop when you're lonely? Do you scroll when you're overwhelmed? Awareness comes first. Second, build a delay. When you want to buy something, pause. Wait 24 hours. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this a want disguised as a need? Could I get this cheaper elsewhere? Could I wait a week? That pause creates power. Third, replace the habit. Spend 10 minutes journaling. Go for a walk. Call a friend. Organize a drawer. Do something that gives you clarity, not clutter. Emotional spending fades when you build emotional resilience. And that resilience spills into everything. Because escaping the paycheck cycle is ultimately about becoming a new kind of person. The kind who says no now, so they can say yes later. The kind who sets boundaries with their time, their money, their habits. The kind who doesn't chase status, but builds substance. And you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it going. I remember a moment that changed me forever. I was at the grocery store, and I saw a man open his banking app at checkout. He looked nervous, hesitated, then quietly put some items back. That used to be me. And in that moment, I felt two things: compassion for him, and deep gratitude that I'd done the work to get out. But here's what I didn't feel: superior. Because money doesn't make you better. It makes you freer. And that freedom is what I want for you. Not riches. Not show. Just peace. Just choice. Just the ability to breathe. And to finally know, you're okay. You're more than okay. You're capable. You're wise. You're changing. And that, my friend, is priceless. Now let's bring this full circle with a long-term vision. What happens once you escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle? You gain clarity. You start planning ahead instead of reacting. You start setting goals that felt impossible before: buying a home, traveling, switching careers, starting a business, giving generously. You begin living on less than you earn. That gap becomes your superpower. You use it to save, to invest, to create, and every month, that gap grows. Not just because of discipline, but because of wisdom. Because you've trained your brain to think differently. You don't panic when the car breaks down, you fix it. You don't dread rent day, you've already set it aside. You don't fight with your partner about money, you're aligned. That freedom ripples into your relationships, your sleep, your health, and the best part? You get to teach others. You become the example your kids will follow. You become the voice your friends call when they're ready. You become the proof that it's possible. Because it is. And it starts with you. Right here, right now. So what's next? Grab a notebook. Write down everything you learned today. Make your action list. Choose one thing to do before the day ends. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Just start. Because you're not stuck. You're one decision away from a new trajectory. And every small step matters. This journey doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the intentional. It belongs to you. So build, begin, and never look back. This has been Scott Blaze. Thanks for walking this journey with me. Now go take control of yours. Let me walk you through one more story, a story that shows how powerful even small changes can be. I once coached a man named Deshaun. He was a single dad working full-time as a delivery driver. Every 2 weeks when his check came in, it was already spent. Rent, childcare, groceries, car payments. By day 5, he was borrowing from friends just to get by. When we first talked, he didn't believe anything could change. He said, "I'm doing my best, but there's just never enough." But I asked him to try one thing. Just track his spending for 2 weeks. He resisted, but he did it, and when we looked at it together, we found $160 in small, daily purchases, snacks, fast food, vending machines, cigarettes, little things that felt necessary in the moment, but added up to a massive leak. He was shocked and empowered. He made a plan, started cooking 3 nights a week, cut smoking by half, switched insurance providers. Within 2 months, he built a $500 emergency fund. By month 4, he was paying down his car loan ahead of schedule. By month 6, he applied for a local driving contract that paid 30% more. Deshaun didn't get a windfall. He got a wake-up call. And that's what I want for you. Not guilt, not shame, but power. The kind of power that comes from facing your finances with honesty and courage. Because no matter your starting point, you have choices. You can audit, you can shift, you can climb. And yes, it will take time. But you'll never regret starting. So take the first step today. Your future is worth it. And so are you. As we close this episode, I want to remind you of one thing. Every powerful financial transformation begins with one quiet decision. I've had enough. Enough of living in fear. Enough of dreading bills. Enough of feeling behind. And enough of believing this is all there is. You are not here to just survive. You're here to build, to lead, to break cycles, to set new standards. You may have grown up watching money slip away, but you get to be the one who holds onto it, who grows it, who uses it with wisdom and strength. Start with one small shift. A new budget, a canceled subscription, a tracked receipt, a saved $20, a packed lunch, a second stream of income, a delayed purchase. Each act is a brick. And brick by brick, you build a life you don't have to escape from. And one day, when someone else feels stuck, you'll have a story to tell. The story of how you escaped the cycle. And how they can too. You were never meant to be trapped. You were meant to be free. Free to rest without panic. Free to give without guilt. Free to build without limits. That freedom begins now, with the decisions you make today. So choose wisely, choose intentionally, and never forget, you're not broken. You're becoming. Keep going. And as you keep going, remind yourself daily, this isn't just about money. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing your kids will be okay. It's about walking into a store and buying what you need without anxiety. It's about resting on a Sunday night, not stressing about Monday morning. It's about becoming the kind of person who handles life with grace. Because they're no longer drowning, they're leading. You're not chasing wealth. You're claiming wisdom. And you're doing it one choice at a time. So take a deep breath. Look at where you are. And celebrate it. Because you've already started. And that makes you unstoppable.